let's talk about the game we have tonight, though. Let's get there. We've got a big show. Rob Gronkowski standing by. Niners have put themselves in something of a must-win situation heading into Seattle, okay? Panic. 2-3 start. Unnatural, uncomfortable. What are we doing here? We'll talk to Gronk about that, of course. But when you look at what's going on, it's not like they're playing bad game right now. They're not playing bad ball. They're literally a few moments away from being 4-1 right now. And I think FanDuel Sportsbook agrees with me, by the way. And that's why the Niners are still plus 700 to win the whole thing, the whole dance, the Super Bowl. Second shortest odds to Kansas City. When you go back to the Rams game, okay, they are a drop away from winning that one. A drop away from winning. Last week, if Jake Moody, who was my obsession for most of the 2023 season, if he doesn't get hurt, I don't know, I feel pretty confident that they close this one out. The red zone fumble, the tipped ball interceptions, those didn't help. But both of those games were kind of fluky. Okay, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that doesn't cause and catalyze a sense of urgency here. There certainly is one. It certainly doesn't absolve them of any responsibility. You can't just blame it on the injuries, especially when you see what teams like Kansas City do. Like no team can cry injury wolf. You can't be the little boy that cries injury. Not with Kansas City looking the way that they do. They have to find a way to close out games. It's a must-win tonight. Irresponsible to act like this team is awful or a shell of itself, though, because of that record. They're getting close. It's going to click at some point. I wouldn't be surprised if we see them rip up 8, 9, 10 wins in a row when it finally gets there. CMC or not, looking like not. And the defense, weird. A lot of people are like, Wilkes was at the... Gaining momentum. They are top 10. Let's not pretend they're like the bottom 5 here, okay? Number 2 ranked total offense in the league. They got to just finish drives. That's it. Tie up loose ends. That's my new initiative in life right now. Loophole. Just close the loop. Tighten the ends. Tighten the screws. Whatever. Before it all comes apart, okay? And that's one of 2 aspects of their play, by the way, I want to see improve. And it's one of the things that we need to see. And CMC, if you look at him and you think about what he adds, obviously balance and security and playmaking. But Christian McCaffrey's a finisher. Make no mistake, he had league-leading 21 touchdowns last year, and I think the other way Christian's absence has sort of affected the offense is kind of revealed by Brock during the presser this week. Take a listen to what he had to say.
I feel like there's just been some plays where I'm scrambling and stuff just because what the defense is doing in terms of dropping 8 and giving us some different looks in that regard. So for me, it's more been about keeping the play alive, and it's been good. And there's also been some plays, obviously, where we've had minus 10 or whatever from trying to scramble around and stuff.
Brock doesn't ever say much, so it's fun to see him even a little tell is interesting. Nobody's dropping 8 in coverage if CMC is there, okay? And it's not a knock on Jordan Mason or whoever that has been great in his stead, but McCaffrey is one of the few RBs that totally changes the way you have to defend an offense. And Purdy's done a really nice job making things happen this season. I think it makes clear, though, Shanahan and this offense, they got to adjust a little bit more to find the rhythm in the passing game because Christian's not there. And I don't know, do we do that by putting Debo in the backfield more? I'd love to see that. He had 8 carries week 1. I was like, he's an RB. Here we go, revelational. No. And he's gotten just 7 carries since. What's that? He had just 1 catch last week, and what's that? What is that about? He's the heartbeat, and I think the one that can sort of bring the rhythm to this offense. I hope he gets involved tonight. Okay, Diamador Lenore needs a spark, says Jeremy Casperson, like from a 9-volt battery. He certainly does. But maybe he needs to change the batteries because he was not changing his smoke alarm. The wonderful corner from the Niners came on our show and said that, and he wasn't changing them because it was a sort of like a thing he wanted to keep going. He didn't want to mess with the juju, but they need the juju to change. So maybe he should change the batteries and change the game plan so they can finish drives.